All right, guys, so in this video, we are going to cover our first topic, but before we get into that, I want to just talk super quickly about how your notebook should be set up to keep you best organized. We will be having periodic notebook checks, so it's really important that your notes are organized and easy to read and follow. So the first thing that every notebook page should have is the date. So I'm recording this on the 9th. So I'm going to start with my date at the top. You want to change the date to fit the day that you're taking your notes. The next thing you want to put is the I can statement. So every I can statement is going to have a number. The first number is going to be the unit that we're in, and the second number is going to be the topic in that unit. So this would be unit 0, topic 1. Sometimes there will even be letters if an individual topic has multiple parts. And then you're going to want to write down the I can statement. So right now, we just want to be successful in math. So you'll write down the I can statement, and then we'll just move into the notes. So from there, you want to title the notes section, and then you're going to write in whatever the notes for that class are. From there, we're probably going to oftentimes have some practice that follows. So we're going to write the practice statement or the practice that we do right underneath it and fill that in. The last section you want to label is your homework section, which you'll be completing and correcting every day. And so you want to know what the homework for that day was. So every note section should look this way. So let's get into our first topic. So our first topic is I can classify, add, and subtract polynomials. And this is for Unit 1, Topic 1, and it's Part A. So this is 1.1a. So let's jump into our notes. So you want to label this Notes section. And we're going to start with some vocabulary. So the first one I want to talk about is the word polynomial, straight from our I can statement. So the word poly, the prefix poly, means many. And the root word nomial means numbers. So a polynomial is many numbers combined together. So let's look at some examples that are polynomials. Yes, they are a polynomial. And let's look at some examples that are not polynomials. So just a couple quick examples of polynomials are 5x to the 7th plus 8x squared minus 3. And another example would be 2x to the 4th minus 3x and x cubed. That could be a polynomial too. What you'll notice is that they all have variables raised to whole number positive exponents. So every single term has a positive whole number exponent. So some examples that would not be a polynomial would be 8x to the negative 3 plus 7x to the positive 3. This negative 3 is not a polynomial because we can't have any negative exponents. If I had 2x to the second plus 8x minus x to the 1/2, this is also not a polynomial because we can't have any fractions in the exponent. And then the last one would be something like 6 to the x power because we can't have a variable as our exponent. Our exponent can only be numbers. Three more terms that I want to talk about. The first vocab term that I want to talk about is degree. So the degree is the highest exponent in a polynomial. So for example, if I had 3x to the 7th minus 2x to the 10th plus 3, the highest exponent is 10. So we would say that this is degree 10. Term is another vocab word we're going to use. A term is anything separated by addition or subtraction. So in the case of the polynomial above, this would be 3 terms. So 3x to the 7th minus 2x to the 10th plus 3. That's going to be 3 terms because it has 3 things separated by addition or subtraction. The last vocab term I want to talk about is standard form. Standard form is how we're going to write all of our polynomials. So not all the examples I've given you so far have been in standard form, but from now on they will be. And standard form is when it goes from highest degree to least degree. So an example of standard form would be 4x to the 7th minus 8x to the 5th plus 3x squared plus 7, because it goes from degree 7 to degree 5 to degree 2, and then technically this guy is degree 0 because it has no exponent. A non-example would be 8x to the 3rd plus 10x to the 5th minus 3x to the 8th, because this one goes 3, 5, 8. So that is not standard form. So now that we know our vocab terms, we're going to use that to actually get into classifying polynomials. So we classify polynomials like we classify people, with a first name and a last name. So the first name of a polynomial is its degree. The last name of a polynomial is its number of terms. So we need a couple vocab terms to help us do this. So if it's degree 0, if there's no exponent at all, the name is constant. If it's degree 1, if the highest exponent is 1, it's called linear. Degree 2 is quadratic. That one's sometimes hard for people to remember. The third is cubic. The fourth is quartic. The fifth is quintic. And then after that, mathematicians got kind of lazy and stopped coming up with new names. So if it's degree 6, you just say 6th degree. If it's degree 7, you just say 7th degree, and so on and so forth from there. So those are our first names. Our last names are based on the number of terms. So if there's no terms, we're not going to have a polynomial. So there's no special name for that. So we start with a 1-term polynomial, and we call that a monomial. A 2-term is called a binomial. A 3-term is a trinomial. And then I guess mathematicians really were feeling lazy, because after that, there's no special names. So here, 4 terms, you would just call a 4-term polynomial. 5 terms would be a 5-term polynomial. And this little notation just means like I'm copying the same words from the 4-term polynomial. So hopefully you have your list still right in front of you. Let's do a couple examples. So if I had 7x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3. Notice this is in standard form because it's going from 3 to 2 and then to 0. If I give it a first name, the first name is based off of the degree. So the highest exponent is 3. So this is going to be called a cubic. And this has 3 terms. So the last name, based off the number of terms, is trinomial. So this is a cubic trinomial. Let's try this one. Let's try 8x to the 5th minus 2. So first name, degree, last name, terms. The first name is going to be quintic. The last name, because it's 2 terms, is binomial. So the last vocab word that I didn't include is leading coefficient. Hopefully you recognize the word coefficient. A coefficient is just the number in front of a term. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the first term when a polynomial is written in standard form. I'm just going to do SF for standard form. So for example, if I had 10x to the 3rd minus 7x plus 8, that is in standard form because it goes from 3 to 1 to 8, or to decrease 0 actually. My leading coefficient is 10 because the coefficient of the first term is 10. So sometimes we abbreviate that as the LC. So the LC, the leading coefficient is 10. Notice I'm not using the variable in there, I'm only using the number. We're going to pause there for now because this video is getting a little bit long, and in my next video we will talk about addition and subtraction.